Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Porsche Clearwater, of course, in sunny Clearwater, Florida. And guess what? I have something bright and blue for you, and it's this vehicle right here. What is it? It's a 2020 Porsche 911 Carrera. But before we get into this Miami blue 911, let's talk about what's going on here. Porsche. It's really one of those brands that built its name upon sports cars. Once upon a time, they didn't have SUVs. They didn't have EVs. They had sports cars. The 911, the 928, the 944, the 924, the 968. The list goes on and on and on. But one that stuck around since 1963 and is still around today, of course, is the mighty 911. Now, what's interesting about the 911, today there's 25 different models of the 911. Not just trims, but models of the 911. And what's interesting is that it's an all-you-can-eat buffet when it comes to optioning them. Now, if you've been paying attention, you know I said 911 Carrera. The Carrera is your entry gate into the 911 family. So what I want to find out is, if you're looking for either a pre-owned or a new 911, is Carrera the way to go, especially if it's going to be your first Porsche, period. So let's go ahead, let's find out if this 911 Carrera is the best base model sports car that you could buy. Let's go ahead and find out. Right off the bat, this does have some interesting options. One of them hits you smack dab in the face. It's Miami blue. Probably one of the most popular colors that are chosen to be on a 911. Really makes it pop. Now at the front of the business, you're gonna see that this is the first year of the 992 generation. Remember, we went 991.1 and .2, then they made a redesign and this is the first year. So you're still gonna get that same great oval shaped headlight design, maybe not round like the original 911, but it's still looking totally identifiable. I love the way they have the projector beam LED headlight and those quadrants of LED daytime running lamps. Working your way down, we do have LED turn signals, super slim, like a knife blade. And then you're gonna have these massive openings for the heat exchangers. Now, as we come across that front nose, like I said, nothing out there on the market today looks like a 911. And you could be on Mars, wearing an eye patch, and looking through a telescope down at Earth, and you would know that this is a 911. The one zonk I have is you have a lot of fake vent area here in the center. I wish that they could have done something a little bit different with what they have on the Carrera. So that is a zonk. But other than that, like I said, the familiar shape, of course, you have the Porsche crest. All the cars being built in Stuttgart. The mighty 911 since day one, 1963. And what's great about that badge is you got your German colors and you have that prancing horse. That is the same horse from the Ferrari badge. And there's a little history lesson that goes with it that maybe one day I'll share with you. Now, as you rise up, of course, you're gonna have that front mounted trunk, just like the original 911. And I like the way you have this nice indentation, simple, clean. Now, when we go around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire. This one has the optional Porsche Carrera commemorative wheels. It's a throwback style, massive machined aluminum spokes. And if you're wondering what's the size, 20-inch up front, 21-inch out back. We have these massive flat black 6-piston Brembo calipers with the Porsche name. Of course, the rotors cross-drilled. And then you are gonna have that great dynamics when it comes to steering, because up front, it's a 245 on the width. The tires out back, because this is rear-wheel drive, this is not a Carrera 4, this is a Carrera rear-wheel drive, we have a little bit more rubber to meet the road. But up front, 245 on the width, 35 series sidewall. Let me know how you feel about the wheels. It's not my favorite, but I feel like it's working fairly well on this Miami Beach blue. Now, as we come down the side, we have color matched on the mirror caps. This particular one has an optional sunroof. And I like the way that they black out both portions of the roof in front of the glass. This is the glass, painted black, nice and seamless into the rear glass. This was the first 911, the 992 was the first 911 to have the flush mounted door handles. Now remember, when you look at a 992 GT3 RS, that vehicle does not have the flush mounted door handles because that has carbon fiber doors that are exclusive to the GT3 RS and that new upcoming 911 ST that we drove not too long ago in California. But simple, clean design. We come towards the rear, like I told you, you have a little bit larger wheel and tire out back. So we have 21-inch wheels out back, same machined aluminum outer edge, and the multi-spokes. You got your 4-piston calipers with the Porsche script. And if you're wondering what is the size of the rear tire, 305 on the rear width with a 30 series sidewall. And there's just something about Porsches, especially the 911, they just sit right straight from the factory. Now, of course, you can make adjustments, lowering springs, things like that, but still just has that wonderful, nice, wide fender flare. It's interesting to see how the 911 has grown in size over the years, but as we come around towards the rear, that simple, clean design. Now, this one you'll also notice has some trim options. Around the window openings, it's all gloss black. That is an option on this Carrera. And then you'll see we have the slots that are also gloss black, our third brake light. We have our active rear spoiler that will raise and lower around 50 miles an hour. You have your red that goes all the way across, and it does light up with the bright silver Porsche script. And this one has the color match 911 Carrera name in that Miami blue. Working our way down, the easy way to tell that this is not a Carrera S or it doesn't have the optional sport exhaust is that right there. That is your stock exhaust. Sort of like a rectangle shape. It is a decorative trim ring, and there are functional exhaust tips on both sides. Let me know how you feel about that. It's not my favorite, but I definitely have seen worse. And then you have flat black in that center portion. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop this engine hatch and see what we could find out about this Carrera. All right, guys, we got the rear hatch open. One of the sad things is there's really not much to see. It's not like the original days with the air-cooled 911s where you could see all those inner bits of the flat six, but this does open up and you will see 3.0. No, that's not your GPA. Back when you were in high school, yours was a 2.1. That's telling us that we have a 3-liter flat six with the twin electric cooling fans. Now let's talk about the engine. Now remember, on the 992, we still have, when you go Carrera, you are getting that twin turbo setup. Now this is not a turbo 911. The 911 turbo has larger turbos, all-wheel drive, and a lot of other goodies. This is a way for them to build more power very effectively with 2 smaller turbos. So we have 3-liter flat six twin turbo, 379 horsepower, 331 pound-feet of torque. Now, if you're a fan of the manual transmission, you're not gonna like this Carrera because it's only available with the PDK 8-speed, which was all new for 2020. If you get the Carrera, the way that this one sits, 0 to 60, 3.9 seconds, top speed 182 miles an hour. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, I want a manual, but I don't want an S, what can I do? That's where the Carrera T comes into play. Carrera T is essentially a base Carrera, but it comes standard with a 7-speed manual transmission. Plus, it's got some other light-saving goodies for weightness and whatnot. But this vehicle weighs 3,354 pounds, MPGs 18 in the city, 24 on the highway. And like I said, we have those Carrera exclusive design wheels on this 992 base 911 Carrera. But why don't we go ahead? Wasn't able to show you much, but I can fire it up. Why don't we go ahead and fire it up and see what a stock base Porsche 911 exhaust, what kind of noise it makes. Let's go ahead and find out. All right, guys, we are inside this 2020 Porsche 911, this being the Carrera 992. Like I said, this was the first year of the new 992, which is still being produced today in 2024. Now, I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I've always wanted a 911. The history and the heritage of the car and the brand is second to none. How much is this one? Well, a base 911 Carrera starts at around $98,000. This one, the way that it's optioned, and the asking price is $124,000, but let's see what you get for the money to the door panels. I love the simple, clean design. Soft touch material, the gunmetal gray finish keeps it clean. And then you'll notice no really large areas of gloss black. You got two door pockets. So you have door pockets in the middle for about 5 Twinkies. And then of course you have some space up front where easily you could get 2 of those Costco Churros in there. We have the Bose sound system. And then going from the door panel to the dash, clean design that really mimics 911 over the years. There's that soft touch. You have this flat black plastic trim, and then you come on in. This one does have the Sport Chrono package, which is nice. So you got your clock up top, and then this also has your 10.9-inch infotainment system. This was new for 2020 because the other ones had the smaller, more dated system, the 991 and the 991.2s. You have your different modes: Sport, Sport Plus, Wet. Really nice to have that. We could shut off that pesky auto start stop feature. And if you want to be cool at the mall and drive around the mall with your spoiler up, you can hit that button and the spoiler comes up. And then of course we have our 2 different chassis modes. I'll throw it into reverse. There's our backup camera. Fairly clear. I just wish it was a little bit larger, but you do have the optional sensing technology, both front and rear, so you don't bump into anything without the vehicle warning you. I put it back in the park. And there we are right back to where we started with our navigation. I love the metal toggle switches for your suspension, shut off your traction control. You got your clean, small air vents. I have to zonk this area, the gloss black. There's no way to get rid of this. I don't care if you get yourself a GT3 RS, it still has the gloss black around where the shifter is. So not my favorite. Dual climate control with the metal toggle switches, which are nice, real knobs. And then this little thing that looks sort of like a shaver, electric razor, this is going to shift your PDK 8-speed transmission. I wish they would have kept with an actual shifter rather than this. Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section. We have our controls for our sunroof, 3 stages of ventilated seats, 3 stages of heated seats. So we have those optional 14-way adjustable seats, a cup holder. Here's your simple but purposeful Porsche key fob. It looks like a 911 from the side. Leather, which is great on the armrest. Open this up, you got enough room for your iPhone 28 Gold Edition. You have 2 USBs, and you have an SD card import area in that center section. Seats, these are the leather 14-way adjustable, so these are the optional seats, power adjustable. Not massive bolstering, but enough to keep you in place. There's your seat controls. Of course, we have our sunroof, which I'm going to open up the shade for you. Look at that, nice power shade on that power sunroof. I'll close it back up. And you do have 2 rear seats. Now, you're not gonna wanna be somebody over 4 feet tall to sit back there, but hey, you could put a gym bag back there. You could put, maybe you bought somebody a big teddy bear for an anniversary gift. Maybe you've been dating for 3 months and you're like, ooh, I wanna get my girlfriend an anniversary gift. I'm gonna get her a teddy bear. Well, guess what? It's kind of weird that you're celebrating an anniversary because the term anniversary actually means a year. So if you've only been dating for 3 months, bad move, bad move. But why don't you come over here? I want to show you a good move behind the wheel of this 911. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have 3-way power memory seat for the driver here. I do like the aluminum sill plate with the 911 Carrera name script in there. And then the pedal box is right out of a race car. Nice large dev pedal, brake pedal, and throttle. You do have your seat controls. They're kind of low, but once you figure out where their location is, it's simple to remember through that muscle memory and make your adjustments. I'm 6 feet tall, and the way that they designed the interior of a 911, it all makes sense. You got plenty of headroom, even with a sunroof. I could get a helmet on for my next track day or an autocross event, and then you got the steering wheel. Love the way it's just a round steering wheel. We don't need flat bottom. We don't need D shape, P shape, J shape, yokes, and all this other crap. Round steering wheel. That makes sense. You got your drive mode selector knob here, and we have metal paddles to go up and down that 8-speed PDK. This does have the optional electric power tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And remember, we have our ignition to turn on the left-hand side. It's been like that since day one on the mighty 911. And then the dash. This was new for the 992. You do have your tach in the center, and then your digital gauges that flank it. I love the way it's shaped perfectly to mimic the gauge cluster on a classic 911. But that's what Porsche does. Now, there is a frunk. I'm not going to show you. It's 4.6 cubic feet of space, and you can fit probably, I would say, about 75 boxes of Twinkies in there. But I don't have any Twinkies right now. What I do have is a lead foot. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go on throttle in this Carrera. All right, guys, we are leaving Porsche Clearwater. I'm in this 2020 Porsche 911 Carrera in Miami blue. And right away, I'm telling you, I know I say this with almost every 911 review that we do here on Radius Rides, you just get it. As soon as you get into the car, it just makes sense why this car has been such an evolution rather than a revolution. I love seeing the tops of the fenders. Gives you great visual reference points. Looking out the back, plenty of visibility. And then of course, everything is laid out super smart in here, which is great. When it comes to the sound quality of the interior, you could tell that these are well built. It's one of those things where you're not getting a lot of noise and vibration, the bad stuff, into the cabin, which is a pleasure. And then behind the wheel, the way the gauges are laid out on this 992, they just really, really, really make sense. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the manual shift mode into play. We're gonna use the paddles. We're gonna do a little bit of launch control here. On fire, here we go, yeah! Nice. The way the car handles, the balance of it, it just feels so good. And remember, this isn't, like I said, like a top trim. This is your entryway into the 911 family. That 8-speed PDK shifts buttery smooth, and this really, the PDK transmission is what every other manufacturer has chased after when it comes to how their transmissions shift and how their transmissions drive. That's the kind of perfection that you're getting with the PDK. And remember, the PDK is a dual clutch. You're getting those lightning shifts, whether you're downshifting or you're upshifting through the gearbox. But even on a standard Carrera, the steering is very quick, it's very intuitive, and it feels so freaking good, so good. You have, of course, that upgraded navigation that has wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. These seats are super comfy, super comfy. And these really are the seats of choice for the perfect daily driver 911. It doesn't have a ton of bolstering, but the bolstering that it does have is pretty decent. And the fact that they are multi-adjustable and have the memory settings for the driver make them especially nice. But going down the highway, it's really smooth, it's very comfortable. And the sound, it's so interesting how the flat six, even in this 911 Carrera, has such a great sound to it. Such a great, unique sound. Are you ready? We're gonna go on throttle. Love some burble out the back. On throttle, here we go. Nice. The brakes are rock solid. Yeah, you can get carbon ceramic brake upgrades and stuff, but these 6-piston Brembos with the steel rotors, even not being the largest rotors in their lineup, still have very effective, very good braking qualities to them. And the suspension is just dialed in. Look at this. Woo-hoo! The feedback, that's my favorite. On throttle, here we go. Nice. If you want a car that communicates well with you, this is the way to go. Are there faster cars, especially for the price of this base Carrera? Sure. There are faster cars that are way less expensive, but the way that the car communicates, the value that it holds, the fit, the finish, all those things add up so nicely. And with the addition of the twin turbos, even though they're small, it really just eliminates turbo lag. I mean, look at this. Nice. On throttle. So having the two smaller turbos is gonna make it to where you're not getting the turbo lag. Plus you're getting some low down grunt to this 3-liter flat 6. Let me know how you feel about it. I know some people still wish that they had just a naturally aspirated flat 6 for the Carrera. To be honest with you, the only naturally aspirated flat 6s are in the GT3 RS and the 911 ST. Other than that, oh, and excuse me, GT3 and GT3 Touring, of course. Other than that, there's no more naturally aspirated flat 6. Getting to the infotainment system, well within reach. Love all the metal toggle switches. And the color is really, really perfect. On throttle, here we go. Look at this, on the brakes. On throttle. Nice. It has a nice amount of thrust to where it puts you back in the seat, but it's very manageable. Everything is manageable in here to help you build confidence, but yet to daily drive this thing with no issues. I'll put it back into automatic shift mode, and it just shifts really, really nice. I mean, even when you're gonna do like a pass on a highway, on throttle, here we go. See, it just drops down. You're off to the races. I mean, that's how good of a transmission this thing is. Very, very well done on what Porsche has done with the 911, especially in this standard Carrera, if you could call any 911 just standard. But I'm hoping that this has been a good overall view of what a base entry 911 brings for the money. We're gonna get back to Porsche Clearwater and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a nanosecond. All right, guys, it's been another great day here at Porsche Clearwater. I definitely got to thank Larry and the rest of the team getting us access to this 2020 911 Carrera in that Miami blue color. Let me know what you think. If you were looking for a sports car and you don't want to go high up the trim levels, is the 911 Carrera the best way to go when you look at what you're getting for the price? And of course, not just what you're getting with the vehicle, but also the performance as well. But put your response down in that comment section. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. I'll come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rights family. Of course, we need to give this up to Big Guns McGee. He's the new Big Guns McGee because he's getting swole each and every day at the gym. Show Steven some love in the comment section. Thank you, Steven, for not breaking the camera because you're so strong. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.